He lasted until the 6th round before getting his face caved in. Literally, you can see the x-rays of his jaw online. Jake did not beat the count after absorbing the right hand that broke his jaw, and AJ got the KO. Guys, let me come out and say the story to me coming out of this fight is Jake Paul. This dude is a maniac in the best sense of the word.
Imagine standing in a ring in Miami, looking across at a man who weighs 243 pounds, holds an Olympic gold medal, and has spent his entire life perfecting the art of the knockout. 4 years, the world said Jake Paul was a protected influencer. A guy who only fought retired MMA legends or athletes who didn't know how to throw a jab. But on Friday night, the protection finally vanished. When Anthony Joshua's right hand connected in the 6th round, it wasn't just a punch. It was a structural failure. Jake's eyes went glazed. His mouth hung open in a silent wow. And for a second, the entire circus of influencer boxing felt very, very real. By the time he hit the canvas for the 4th and final time, the spectacle had turned into a surgery.
This is the worst defense in boxing. Jake fires his signature overhand right while dropping his left hand. Although the shot lands clean, Joshua takes it well and goes to counter with his own right. But Jake completely crosses his arms, leaving himself wide open for the counter. So Joshua makes him pay with a right that hurts.
Most people see a knockout and think it's over. But for Jake Paul, the nightmare was just starting. After the cameras stopped rolling and the $50 million checks were signed, the medical reality set in. Jake wasn't just hurt. His jaw was literally shattered in 2 separate places. He didn't just walk it off. He headed straight to a hospital bed where surgeons had to bolt his face back together with 2 titanium plates. We're talking about missing teeth, a 7-day liquid-only diet, and a numbing throb that no amount of YouTube fame can fix. It's one thing to talk about being a fighter, but it's another thing to spend a week drinking your meals through a straw because a former world champion decided to cave your face in.
The doctor says I may not be able to eat solid food again. He also advised I stop talking shit I can't flush.
But even with his jaw in pieces, the reaction from the experts was probably the most shocking part of the night. On the latest episode of Inside the Ring, Max Kellerman and Malik Scott didn't just talk about the loss. They talked about the maniac behind it. Kellerman, who has seen every legendary fighter of the last 30 years, refused to hear any Jake Paul slander. He called him a man deluded in the best way possible, comparing him to a literary hero who refuses to let reality dictate what he can achieve. According to Max, Jake is a guy who lives in his own imagination, ignoring the fact that he has no business being in the ring with an elite heavyweight. And honestly, when you look at the stats, Max might have a point.
By the way, I know it was a lot like William Skull and Canelo Alvarez, where Skull was kind of outlanding Canelo upstairs, but there was nothing on the shots. But the fact is, actually, Jake Paul landed more clean punches to the head than Anthony Joshua did before the end of the fight. What he did was amazing.
Yes.
And guys, he also did something else by taking this fight. What Jake did was retroactively justify fighting a guy like Tank Davis, or even trying to make that fight. Because what Jake is demonstrating here is, okay, everybody, you're accusing me of having to fight an ancient Mike Tyson, or a tiny Tank Davis, or an old MMA fighter. I'm really thinking about how to make a global event that people are interested in, that captures your imagination. Watch this. I'll put myself on the short side of that.
Yes.
I'll get in and fight. It's not about who's bigger, who's smaller, who's older, who's younger. It's about what is a compelling event. By the way, whether or not you agree with that, I don't 100% agree with that way of thinking, but that's his way of thinking. He did it again. And I gotta take my hat off to him. I was amazed that he was able to get into the 6th round with Anthony Joshua.
Believe it or not, before that final bone-crushing right hand landed, Jake Paul was actually outlanding Anthony Joshua in clean headshots. Let that sink in for a second. A guy who started boxing on YouTube was touching up a 2-time world heavyweight champion. This is exactly what had the panel so divided. Shady McCoy was particularly sassy about it, calling AJ's performance crude and disappointing. For 5 rounds, Joshua looked tentative, almost like he was scared of his own shadow. He missed 98 of the 146 punches he threw. He wasn't cutting off the ring. He wasn't using feints. and he looked like a guy who was fighting with a massive weight on his shoulders.
The game plan from both guys from round one. Jake was very mobile. He had the happy feet going. He was circling around the outside of the ring. He was not engaged in elongated combinations. He was not looking to stand in the center of the ring with AJ, and people are going to say Jake ran from AJ, and you're right. Because guess why? He absolutely had to. Again, we talked about this in the build-up to the fight. He had to be mobile. Yes, you're justified in saying Jake ran from him because he had to. He had to. And anybody that convinced themselves that Jake was going to walk to the center of the ring, stand in the phone booth with AJ, and trade punches until someone laid flat, you were lying to yourself, or you convinced yourself of something you saw in the promo. This was always going to be the way the fight went. I wasn't surprised at all that this is the way that Jake started and pretty much fought the entire time. I was a bit surprised that AJ hurt himself earlier. Now, again, it is very hard to hurt someone that doesn't in a continuous fight. Round one, very much a feeling out process for AJ. Didn't really look like he did much, but Jake didn't either. There was one right that shook Jake up. That's the danger that was coming for Jake the entirety of the...
Kellerman thinks he knows why AJ looks so bad, and it's a concept he calls the specter of disaster. Think about the pressure Joshua was under. If he knocks Jake out in 30 seconds, everyone says, so what? He's a YouTuber. But if he gets caught with one lucky shot and loses, his entire legacy is erased in an instant. That fear of embarrassment can paralyze even the best athletes. It turned AJ into a mournful shadow of the guy who fought Vladimir Klitschko back in 2017. He was so focused on not doing something stupid that he forgot how to be the elite destroyer the world knows him to be. It took him 6 rounds to do what a rising prospect like Moses Adama probably would have done in 60 seconds.
Jake Paul, from the beginning to now, he has got better and better and better. And then another thing is, like, we keep forgetting that he's supposed to fight Gervonta Davis. And that happened fast.
Gervonta wouldn't have stopped him.
Hold on. And now you fighting Anthony Joshua?
Yes.
Like, so now you
and
go
also,
from...
don't forget, that was an exhibition, too. That would have been...
But I'm saying, like, the game plan to fight a guy that's 5'5" has to change drastically to fight a 6'6" heavyweight champ. Like, give him credit for that, too.
And by choice, Shady.
But the problem with you, I'm having weight right now, Max, and you let him off the hook. Anthony Joshua to be a heavyweight champ, the way y'all talk about him,
Shady's right.
He looks terrible.
I have to say,
and when
Shady's
Tyson Fury puts his hands on him, I can't wait.
Shady's right this time. I give Shady a lot of crap on the show about Joshua. I was disappointed. That wasn't
embarrassing. I don't think
he
so.
He couldn't cut off the ring. Right? That's concerning.
No feints.
I understand it's a bigger ring, right? It's 22 by 22. No feints. He's right. And I've seen a lot of people on social media saying Joshua went easy on him. I don't think so.
No,
I think Joshua was trying.
Look at Jake's face. You think he went easy?
I don't think he went easy.
He would have left the broken jaw out.
That's as dumb as the people who show you, like, Mike Tyson throwing a right hand that he stopped saying Mike was not trying to hurt Jake Paul.
Right.
When, in fact, all boxing fans who know what they were looking at were very grateful that Jake didn't hurt Mike in that fight, right?
I agree.
AJ is a different story. This is what I would say about AJ's performance. There was supposed to maybe be another fight between now and the Tyson Fury fight as a tune-up. Were I advising AJ, I would cancel that fight. No fights. Immediately. No more fights until you, because
there's no telling what happened type of thing.
There's no telling what happened.
Even Malik Scott, a man who lives and breathes elite boxing and trains some of the biggest names in the sport, had to admit he was wrong. Malik came into this as a massive doubter. But seeing Jake get up from 3 separate knockdowns with a broken jaw changed everything. He pointed out that Jake didn't just survive. He remained conscious and defiant until the very end. There's a viral clip of Jake in the ring, spitting a tracer of blood onto the canvas while trying to wrap his head around the fact that his face was broken. He wasn't crying or looking for an exit. He was almost proud of the ass-whipping he just received. That kind of heart is something you can't teach. And it's why Malik says Jake finally earned his respect.
Not love him.
Come on.
No question. I mean, the fact that he would fight for a cruiserweight world title, he's fought, now he has had 3 real professional fights against guys around his size.
Chavez.
One of them was I'm not even talking about Chavez because he was old and came back. I mean, guys who are active fighters. He lost to Tommy Fury, and then he beat 2 guys in Florida in smaller events. But they were active fighters with winning records, okay? So on those 3 cruiserweight fights, he wants a cruiserweight title shot. Now, he'll get it if he wants it because he means a lot of money. Do you think he's ready to fight for a cruiserweight title, Malik?
In 4 or 5 fights, yes, I do.
Right, he needs another 4 or 5.
Yes.
But the danger is just like with AJ, he could lose in one of those 4 or 5 fights.
I don't think so because the matchmaking, they've been doing a great job at that. The first chance he took was against Anthony Joshua, and look how he did. Shady, he did
Wait, hold on.
incredible.
By the way, when
he
that
did
fight
incredible.
ended, he was conscious.
Yes.
He got his,
Yeah.
like the dude has so much heart.
He
He's
was so
on the
happy
floor
that he had a broken
with a
jaw.
broken jaw, and he's like, "Whoa!" He was just happy to be a part of it.
And I was happy
Yeah.
that I was happy for him because I had a lot of doubt, and he earned my respect.
Yes.
I'm a Jake Paul fan for
Yes.
sure. But let's just slow it down, fellas. Put the timeout, 30-second timeout. Who you gonna put him in there with? You said contending for a cruiser. Who you gonna
Yeah,
put?
Who's the cruiserweight that just beat Badu Jack?
Yeah.
Noel McCallion.
Okay, give Jake Paul 4 or 5 more fights.
I think 4 or 5, and I think if you're going to do 4 or 5,
By the way, I don't disagree with that.
I think what you have to do right is get him ready for that. He has
Wait
to
till
be
you see
fighting
him,
like
Shady. You'll see. You'll
maybe
see.
washed up cruiserweights, right? Get him ready for that. Former champions.
Yeah, I'm good with
But
that.
Shady, even you being
Fight
good
him
with that is a
maybe.
lot. It's Jake Paul. We're talking about him fighting real cruiserweight with real records and beating him.
Can he beat his
Listen,
Oricos?
Of course, the internet is having a field day with the medical receipts. Jake didn't waste any time posting his x-rays on social media, showing the 2 fractures highlighted in red. But in true Jake Paul fashion, he coupled the injury with a joke, immediately calling out Canelo Alvarez for a fight in 10 days. It's that exact delusion Kellerman was talking about. Most people would be reconsidering their life choices after a double jaw fracture, but Jake is already marketing the next $50 million event. The big question now is whether the corner should have stepped in sooner. Reddit threads are exploding with fans debating if his trainers failed him by letting him go out for that 6th round when it was clear he was exhausted and severely injured.